Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, the show where we bring you important unstarred or written questions asked by the members of the Rajya Sabha during the ongoing budget session of Parliament and the response given by respective departments and ministries. I'm Kriti Mishra and joining me is my colleague Rajat Kain.
Well, thanks Kriti and thanks to our viewers for watching Question Hour. So let's begin the show.
And the first question in this edition is from member Dr. Vikas Mahatme, and this question is to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And Dr. Mahatme has asked the government the types of activities that have been included in Green Good Deeds initiative, which is about simple practical steps that students, teachers and citizens can perform in their day-to-day lives towards protecting the environment.
For responding, the ministry said it has an ongoing environmental education, awareness and training scheme with the objective to promote environmental awareness among all sections of society, especially schools and college level students, and to mobilize people's participation for conservation of the environment. The Green Good Deeds, a social movement, is one of the components of the scheme aimed to inculcate green good habits and behavior among all sections of society to take green social responsibility. The GGDs, that is Green Good Deeds initiative, is about simple, practical steps that students, teachers and citizens can perform in their day-to-day life towards protection of the environment. Now, cleanliness drives is part of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, plantation drives, awareness on waste management, minimizing the use of single-use plastic and celebrating Green Diwali are some of the activities undertaken by the schools and college level under this initiative.
Member Dr. Vikas Mahatme joined us on the Question Hour show, and this is what he had to say to the response given by the government to his question. Take a listen. And joining us on the Question Hour show is Rajya Sabha MP and questioner Dr. Vikas Mahatme. Sir, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television and thank you so much for talking to us. There was a very novel concept that we read in the answer given by the government to your query, which is Go Green Good Deeds.
Yeah,
what are these Go Green Good Deeds?
Go Green Good Deeds is a concept which was thrown, it was in the BRICS summit. Our Honorable Minister, Harshavardhanji, floated this concept. And I think that was accepted in BRICS also. The concept is that the public, general public, common man, what he should do so that environment will be better than what is today. For example, just I shall tell you the use of water. If I take a bath, instead of showers, let us use a bucket so that we will save the water. Then the electricity saving. You should put off the air conditioners when you feel that it's not necessary. Secondly, carpool while driving so that number of cars on the road will be less. Use of transport, that will also reduce the carbon prints. So all these things together will be for the people, common man, to follow so that the environment becomes better and the life becomes more easier for everybody and for tomorrow also. I shall quote the example. My grandmother, when she came from her village to our house, she brought two orange plants. But we were not too happy. Just we enjoyed planting them. But we couldn't find anything encouraging in that. But after some years, 1 or 2 years, she expired. But after 4 years, we got the oranges, and every time when I used to eat the orange, I used to remember my grandmother. So I think that way also it gets linked up. So this was her Go Green Good Deed. And similarly, everybody should try to plant the trees also. So these are the things which simple things which every person can do and can contribute for great, better environment. That is the Go Green Good Deeds. Dr. Harshavardhanji, who is Honorable our Minister at that time for the Environment, and he floated this idea, and then it was accepted in the BRICS, and now it is implemented all over the BRICS also. So I think I should like to congratulate him for this great idea also.
Right, sir. What are the other Go Green Good Deeds in our daily lives that we can actually use?
Yeah, there are many. Just separate the waste management, the dry waste and the wet waste. So you can separate, and if you separate it, it's an additional environment. things. Then you can say for the water, the tap, even if you close the tap, you will save the water. Minimal amount of water should be used. What they say, flush of the commode, you should use very less water. Half, there are two buttons. Half the flush only can be used, and if it is necessary, then only another time you can push the button. Then some new inventions are also there. That whatever basin water that goes to the flush, and then it will be used for that flush purpose. So similarly, small things will help to improve the environment. I think everybody will have so many ideas. Use less soap because it contains chemicals which will be undergoing into the land ultimately in that area. So it is better. Whatever is necessary should be used, but unnecessarily we use so much of soap which is not essential. Still, it may be harmful to the skin also, but still we are using as a habit it has formed. So let us think over it, and then everywhere this will be the improvement, and I think this will help everybody. The rain will be at proper time. There will not be any floods, there will not be any droughts also. So many things will happen, and every person will be able to contribute in that.
Well, moving on to next question that was asked by member Lingiya Yadav from Ministry of Home Affairs. The member asked whether government has constituted any task force or committee on crime against women and children, particularly girl children. If so, details in the last 5 years of the current year and the recommendations received are accepted or implemented, including Justice J.S. Verma Committee report.
In the response, the government says that no task force or committee has been specifically constituted for this purpose. However, taking into account the recommendations of the Justice Verma Committee, government has already made amendments in India's criminal laws, including Indian Penal Code, Code of Criminal Procedure, Indian Evidence Act and Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, relating to sexual harassment, assault or use of criminal force to a woman with intent to disrobe her, voyeurism, stalking and also rape. The government further says that pursuant to the recommendations made in the Justice Verma Committee report, domestic workers were included within the ambit of sexual harassment of women at workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013. And moving on to the next question that has been asked by member Hussain Dalwai, and this question is to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And Mr. Dalwai has asked the government whether it has given compensation to 282 Indians who died cleaning sewers and septic tanks in accordance with Supreme Court's order.
In its response, the government said that Supreme Court in its judgment directed the states and union territories to identify all cases of sewage-related deaths that have occurred since 1993 and pay compensation of 10 lakh each to the families of the persons who have died while cleaning of sewers or septic tanks. The above directions were communicated to all states and union territories for compliance. The issue is monitored by Ministry as well as the National Commission of Safai Karmacharis. As per the reports furnished to the National Commission of Safai Karmachari by states, of 920 identified cases of death that have occurred since 1993, compensation of 10 lakh has been paid to 558 cases and partial compensation is paid in 161 cases. Well, moving on, the next question was asked by member S. Muthukarappan from Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and member asked whether government is considering to develop a national gas grid.
In the response, the government says that Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board is the authority to grant authorization to the entities to lay, build, operate or expand gas pipelines as per the PNGRB Act of 2006. To increase the availability of natural gas across the country, the government has envisaged developing the national gas grid. At present, about 16,800 kilometers of natural gas pipeline is operational and 14,700 kilometers of natural gas pipeline is under various stages of development. The government further says that in an interactive discussion with various stakeholders for upstream, midstream and downstream segments have been held to increase and to access the requirement of infrastructure to connect the supply centers to demand areas for natural gas across the country. And moving on to the last question of this edition of the Question Hour show, which has been asked by member Parimal Nathwani. and this question pertains to the Ministry of Labour and Employment. And the member has asked and inquired about the number of employment exchanges functioning in the country presently.
Giving a concise reply, the ministry said that as per the information received from states and union territories, at present 997 employment exchange are functional across the country. Now, as per the information received across the states, a number of job seekers, all of whom may not necessarily be unemployed, who got registered in an employment exchange in country during 2015, 16 and 17 were 69.4 lakhs in 2015, 59.6 lakhs in 16 and 39.5 lakhs in 2017.
Well, Rajat, these were the questions and answers in this edition of the Question Hour show. But on the other side, the Hindi version of Question Hour, Prashn Kaal with our colleagues Arvind Singh and Kriti Singh. Please don't go anywhere.